Hi everyone, welcome back to Anu's classroom. Today's video we will be discussing about some of the important questions that have come up in MMPC 7, that is business communication, in the previous years. Okay, so these questions I have taken from the previous year's question papers actually, and I have eliminated almost all the similar questions and I've just kept the unique ones here. Okay, so with this MMPC 7 we are closing all the first semester exams, right? This is your last exam. It is actually what you can say comparatively easy also. Now that you have learned MMPC 1 through 6, almost all the concepts that come in MMPC 7, you will find that they are almost what you can say similar to many of the topics you have already covered from 1 to 6. Okay, so this must be, I would say, easier uh, topic compared to all the other subjects. What we have to showcase over here is our strong communication skills. So when you are writing your paper also, should keep in mind that you're talking about business communication. Spellings should be proper. Do not make spelling mistakes unwantedly. Format your answers properly. This went for all your other exams as well, right? Make sure you order your answers appropriately, give headings, underline wherever required. Okay, give ample amount of examples as much as you can. Okay, all those things. So let us get started. So the first question is, why is business communication important for organizations? Explain. So why is business communication important? Because the communication is what you can say, it is the heartbeat of every organization, right? It is required to convey messages, not just any message but rather clear message which is timely, exact, correct, right? It should be time saving, it should be short, limited, right? There should be a you approach. Only then you can convey your whatever you need to convey appropriately to your audience. Then only you will get customers, then only you can get good suppliers, then only you can maintain business relations. So business communication is very important. You can write however whatever you feel is why business communication is important. You can explain it as you see fit with ample amount of examples. Please give examples. Okay, so the next question is, discuss the different organizational barriers to communication. So that could be, as an organization, they're having too many transfer stations. Like if I have to transfer a message, maybe a salesperson, a sales executive wants to transfer a message to maybe the product department. If it has to go to a lot through a lot of transfer stations, that is his supervisor, then that supervisor, then the departmental head, and then like if there are many transfer stations, it is a barrier. Then if there is a fear of superiors, then you might not say everything openly, or you might withhold a lot of information fearing negative repercussions towards you. Negative tendencies like that. Then use of inappropriate media. Whatever has to be written should be written and sent. Whatever has to be said, it should be said. Email, right? So if it is not, then it is a barrier to communication. Information overload. If your mailbox is flooded with stuff, then you might blindly delete everything, and then you might actually miss some important information over there, right? So information overload is again a barrier to communication. So cultural barriers will be there. People belonging to many different cultures would come together in an organization, right? And or maybe the organization's culture would differ from the person's culture, and there could be problems because of that. So all these things you can tell in the different organization barriers to communication. And additionally, if in case you are not able to fill the page quota, right? I always say divide your number of pages to approximately around, what you can say, at least 4 to 5 pages you should write for an essay question, right? So you can also talk a little bit about how you can actually overcome these barriers as well. Next, what do you understand by interpersonal communication? Discuss the core competencies that are involved in interpersonal communication. So interpersonal, between people. So what all are the things? Limited vocabulary, emotional outburst, communication selectivity, cultural variation, all these things could be problems in interpersonal communication, right? So what is interpersonal communication? Again, it is communication between people, right? So what are the core competencies that should be involved? You should have appropriate vocabulary in whatever language you have chosen for the communication. You should control your emotions. You should be mindful about the cultural variations. You should be able to concentrate properly in your communication, right? So all those things you have to take care. So all these things you can write down for this core competencies as well. Now, can conflict in meetings be positive? Justify with the help of examples. So for this, to make it 20 marks, you can start by why meetings are important, right? And then the different types of conflicts that could arise in meetings, and then how those conflicts can actually be made what you can say, made to be of use, or can be made advantageous for the organization, right? Then you can say that the conflict in meetings can be positive. So whether or not the conflicts can be positive or not in an organization while in a meeting is all dependent upon the manager who manages the meeting, right? So according to what is happening, the manager can either make it positive by taking the using the conflict in a constructive way. Otherwise, if it is not managed properly, then naturally it will become a negative impact. So you can talk about that and then give appropriate examples also. The example could be something which you have encountered in your real life, or something you have seen in your movies as well, no issues, but give ample amount of adequate amount of actual to the point examples, right? Where that examples came from doesn't matter, you should give correct examples. Then define listening. Why is it important for organizations? Justify with suitable examples. So what is listening? It is the hearing, comprehending, retaining, and recalling information, right? Hearing is just the physical aspect of listening, but active listening, or actually listening, it involves more than just hearing. It also includes being able to comprehend, retain, and recall whatever you have heard. That is listening. Why is it important? Because without proper listening skills, your communication will never be proper, right? Whether it be what you can say, whether it be in a meeting, whether it be in while presenting any reports, or communicating with other people, wherever it is, okay, maybe customers, maybe suppliers, or even your colleagues, whatever it is, while communicating, if you are not actively listening for all the cues you are getting, verbal and non-verbal, then you will not be able to properly understand the gist of that communication, and it will become negative. It will have negative impacts for you as well as the organization, right? So again, give proper examples. Even if they have not asked you for examples, I suggest you strongly give examples, okay? So the next one, list and explain the different types of business correspondence. So we have long as well as short correspondences, right? So the short correspondences could be your letters, your memos, notices, all those kinds of things, pamphlets, all those things are short correspondences. And long correspondence, we have two main classes, that is reports and proposals. In that, proposals could be solicited proposals or unsolicited proposals, right? Then you can go and talk about a little bit about each of those different types of correspondences, how they can be used, what is the best type of correspondence to be used in a few situations. You can give some examples as well. So that is the different types of correspondences. Generally, we haven't seen much questions which ask you to give the format or anything, but the last term and examination, we actually had a question where they asked to what you can say, they asked to write about reports in detail, reports or proposals in detail, just that part, okay? So if a question comes like that, definitely you should know what is the format, all those things you need to know. But definitely the other thing is that you will have ample amount of choices, right? And you will only be asked to write around 5 out of around 7 questions or so. So make sure you pick up the 5 which you are what you can say, you are most comfortable with in writing for 20 marks, okay? So that is the different types of business correspondences. So rather than going for the short correspondences, because they are of like many types are there, I would say reports and proposals, you go a little bit in depth, because that was the first time we saw asking for how the format and all was, like a little bit more in depth into just one type of business correspondence. That was the first time we saw the last semester when we had the term and examination. So you do keep a lookout for that, okay? But keep it like the last, okay? Last, after studying and revising everything else, if you think that you have some more time left, do take a look at all these formats, okay? Differentiate between lean media and rich media. So the richness of the media they are talking about is based on the graphics and all those things, visual aids and all, which is coming in the media. So written letters will be the most leanest, right? Whereas your advertisements or videos, okay, those will have the highest richness. So that is lean media and rich media. You can easily differentiate between these two, I hope now. Okay, discuss the different elements of cross-cultural communication. So you can talk about what culture is and how organizations are becoming MNCs, and therefore people from different cultures are having to interact with each other. Therefore cross-cultural communication is absolutely unavoidable in today's situation. You can start your answer like that, and then go in depth about all the different elements of cross-cultural communication. like awareness, preparation, the language, using humor with caution, openness, all those things you can talk about it, right? So that is about cross-cultural communication. So in our MMPC 7 series, actually, while I made the videos also, I had given all the important points, like whenever I used to take a important point which could come up in the examination point of view, I had stressed on those concepts. Okay, so even if you have gone through it, then you will definitely know all the important topics you have to revise. But if not, then I will shortly upload another video where we'll just cover a quick recap on all the important points or all the important topics you have to stress on well just before the exam, just as a quick revision class. Okay, so all the best, study well. This is a paper which you can actually score well, right? So make use of this is a mark scoring paper, so make use of it. I hope all the other exams were good for you. If not, don't worry, keep them all aside, concentrate on MMPC 7 right now. Okay, IGNOU gives you ample opportunities to rewrite your exams. Please do not be scared of anything. Go and face your exam with confidence. All the best to you guys. Bye bye.